My name is Nyaradzo Adams. I'm 37 years old. I am a leadership specialist and an ontological coach. I feel like I got started in this career from when I was really very young. I've always been very curious about human beings, the choices that we make, the way in which we choose to show up in the world, and how we can shift that. I grew up in an environment that didn't always echo what my own dreams and ambitions were, so I was always intrigued by how I could continue to grow myself into the opportunities that I wanted. And so it started from a very young age. At university, I studied anthropology, which spoke to my interest in people again, and in cultures and in societies, and again, how we construct our beingness as people. And that then led me into leadership development, which I started off at Alan Gray, Orbis Foundation, and then at McKinsey & Company, and then finally at Yale. And after Yale University, I decided to quit that job and move back to Zimbabwe to focus more consciously on being a leadership practitioner and supporting leaders in their growth and their development. My biggest challenge was choosing to start my business in Zimbabwe. As you know, it's an economy that has been struggling for a very long time. And a lot of people around me advised that it wouldn't be the best space in which to start a business. But I've never thought of myself as a business. I've always thought of myself as a practitioner and a person who is in service to a challenge that society currently faces, which is how do we show up authentically and powerfully as who we are for the betterment of the world. And so my concern wasn't so much about growing a business, it was about where can I be best used to support people in their journey. And Zimbabwe made sense to me because I am from Zimbabwe. I hadn't lived in Zimbabwe for 15 years, and it felt quite pretentious that I was doing leadership development in countries like South Africa or the United States, which are much better off than where my country is. And so it made sense to me to be home and to be used at home as a vessel to do this work that I'm doing. The highlights of this journey for me have been the ability to work with people very intimately. Often human beings show up with a mask, and we are brought up in a society that teaches us to mask quite well. Our education systems, our corporate environments, our political states teach us very much to be inauthentic in the world in order to survive. And for me, it's been being able to give people permission to thrive, permission to be connected to who they really are, to be authentically themselves, to dare to live out what they believe is their intention of being in the world. It's been very fulfilling to see people being able to make those shifts. The benefits of living with presence is that you can fully engage with what is happening in your world. I hear people often say that they're victims of circumstances, victims of a system, victims of an economy, victims of a political dispensation. But presence means that you can courageously look at what is in front of you and ask two really important questions. Number one, how am I causing this? Because, you know, we see the world as we are and not as it is. And presence means you can become an active participant in asking that very courageous question. How am I causing this? What part of me is also creating? So for me, presence is about asking, what do I need to feel safe? But what does the next person need to feel safe? And if we're always co-creating that together, we create a world that is so much more fulfilling, right? And so for me, presence is giving yourself an opportunity to experience life not as a victim of it, but as a participant, and saying, how can I better participate in what I'm experiencing in this present moment?